Hello, amiibros. This is Jason of Game Shocks, and welcome to my predictions for the 2024 Game Awards. So I'm very interested in this year's Game Awards in particular. I'm still excited for it like I normally am. I'm just not excited for it like as I usually am. Maybe because of like what the nominees we eventually got are, I don't know, maybe not as exciting as like last year's, because last year was like a banner year for video games, and this year not so much, but I'm still going to be rooting for some games. Now, I'm not going to be discussing any of the controversies surrounding this year's Game Awards. I might bring up like a few, like one of the nominees for Game of the Year in particular. But for the most part, I'm not going to be discussing it. It's just going to be about like the voting first and foremost. If you want to find anything about the controversies around this year's Game Awards, just look up Game Awards controversies, and I'm sure you'll find it. But either way, I'm still very excited to see what I eventually vote for and see how it all goes down on December 12th. So yeah. So now let's start. And also let me know what your predictions are in the comments below. I would love to see what they are. So first, I was going to do player's voice, but voting is already closed for that. I didn't see what was like the top of the heap for the nominees. So all I'll say is, because I did look at what the nominees were, if I had to vote, I would have picked Black Myth Wukong to win that. All right, so our first one is best esports team. I usually start from the bottom and work my way up, just like how I do in real life. Oh, voting's already closed. Lovely. So we'll just go off of what I did in 2022, where I just click over and over again, like this, and that's what will be my pick for 2024. Well, for 2024 for this year's Game Awards, because I didn't get to this earlier, unfortunately. So best esports team, recognizing a specific esports team, not the full organization, judged by the most outstanding performance and conduct in 2024. Because I really know a lot about esports. They're my favorite. So we got Billy Gaming, Gen G, Navi, T1, and Team Liquid. I don't know any of these guys. Who has the best name? Navi, because I think of Zelda. I have no idea. With the esports categories, I'm just going to probably blaze through these because I have no idea what to pick. Best esports athlete. Let's see. Who has the best name? I don't know. None of these really stand out to me. So I think I'll just pick Faker because he's really the only one I've even remotely heard of, because I think I picked him either last year or the year before, or even the year before that. But I'm picking Faker. Next one. What is it? Best esports game. For the best game that has delivered the best overall esports experience. Yeah, because esports are sports. No, I'm kidding. They are sports. The best overall esports experience. I don't know why I'm getting hung up on that. To players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. So we got Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, like bang bang bang, like the song, and Valorant. I don't know. I usually just go with the one that is that has been the most recently released. So if I'm going by that logic, I would say Mobile Legends Bang Bang, but I'm just gonna say Counter-Strike 2 then. Hope you could hear that. Oh, the mouse isn't clicking. Content Creator of the Year. This one is easy. I don't even think I need to read any of these. You already know who it is. We got the best picture of him up for us for a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2024. That is Queso, baby. If it is not Queso, then he's probably going to eat the rest of this competition and then ban them from the Discord. Moving on. Also, I love that they have the picture of him in front of Waffle House. Like, that's amazing. Most anticipated game. Recognizing an announced game that has demonstratedly illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Love the use of big words there. So we got Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4, and Monster Hunter Wilds. It's Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, I don't think the industry is more excited for any game ever in history than Grand Theft Auto 6. If I was going for, like, what I'm personally more excited for, I'm more excited for Metroid Prime 4 and Ghost of Yotei, but I just know the industry as a whole is more excited for Grand Theft Auto 6, so I'm picking that. Because next year 2025 is going to be a big year. Like, I also wish that like stuff like Doom the Dark Ages was in there, or I'm sure there's more games that I just can't think of off the top of my head, but those are like some of the big ones that like are coming in 2025. All right, best adaptation. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. So we got Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. I can't even say that title. I almost said Tomb Later. Like, see the Tomb Later. I don't know. I'm between Fallout and Arcane. It's definitely not going to be any of these. The rest of them. I don't know. Arcane just came out, and even though it already won, I could see it winning again, just because that show is just so acclaimed that like I can't even see anything else potentially taking it. But if we're going by like, oh, then let's not give it to Arcane again, then I would go with Fallout. But I don't know. Even though Fallout I heard is really good, I haven't seen any of these shows, by the way. I might just stick with Arcane, and then next year it'll go to The Last of Us. It'll just be Arcane, Last of Us, Arcane, Last of Us. Wouldn't it be funny if we lived in a world like that? All right, best multiplayer game. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. So we got Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Now, of these, I've only played Super Mario Party Jamboree, and it's really good. But what was the big multiplayer craze in 2024? It's Helldivers 2. I usually just go by that logic sometimes. I didn't do it last year when I picked Super Mario Brothers Wonder, I believe. So this year I'm just going to go with that and just stick with Helldivers 2. Like, even though like that game has been through its ups and downs throughout this year, Helldivers 2 is the big one out of all of these. All right, best sports / racing game, or as I like to call it, the Forza Award. Although this year there's no Forza. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. So we got F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25, and WWE 2K24. Well, one thing's for sure, I'm definitely not voting for FC 25. More than half of these are 2K, and I'm just gonna go with F1 24 because I've heard those games are actually like pretty good. And I don't think they've ever had their flowers before, so I think this will be the chance to do it because there's nothing like really big and stand out. Like, there's no like Tony Hawk or like Crash Team Racing or Gran Turismo or, like I said, Forza, because this is the Forza Award. And most of the times when it's a sports / racing game, it's usually a racing game that wins. So I'm going with F1 24. All right, next is best sim / strategy game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. So we have Age of Mythology Retold. Hold on, let me move this up a little bit. Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kunimitsugami Path of the Goddess. Never heard of it, even though it's by Capcom. Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord. Now, despite the title, I've actually heard Unicorn Overlord is pretty good. But that's not my vote, though. I'm going to go with Age of Mythology Retold. Kind of like the same reasons I said for, like, best multiplayer game. I usually just go with the one I've heard of. So I would go with Unicorn Overlord. But I've also heard of Age of Mythology, so I'd probably go to stick with Unicorn... almost said Unicorn Overlord. Age of Mythology Retold. This is not my genre, so I don't really know much. Best family game. So let's see. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. So we got Astrobot. I won't even just give this suspense. That's the winner. Astrobot. Princess Peach Showtime. Super Mario Party Jamboree. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And The Plucky Squire. Most of these are good games. I haven't played Princess Peach Showtime, but I've played Mario Party and I played Zelda, and those are great games. But Astrobot, if Astrobot is gonna win anything, it's definitely taking this one home. And it's probably gonna take some more. Just we'll get there in due time. Oh, and by the way, I know for what got the most nominations this year, it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Astrobot. They both got 7 nominations. All right, best fighting game. For the best game for the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. So we got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy vs Rising. I never heard of it. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. That's not even a game. It's just a compilation of games. So that's a little weird. Multiverses, and then Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is my pick. Although I've ever since Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out, I've been hearing a lot of great things about that game. But since Tekken 8 has come out back in January, I'm going with that, with Tekken 8, because I also remember when I went to PAX East earlier this year, there were tons of players playing Tekken 8 on like the show floor, and that was really cool to see, especially considering I'm not good at fighting games. It was just cool watching people who are good duke it out. So I like that. But I could see it going to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero if it's not Tekken 8. But my vote's Tekken 8 still. All right, what's next? Best RPG. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Now, this is where like the bulk of like the Game of the Year nominees are. Usually it's like best action adventure game, but not this time. I think that they're going back to when the Game Awards started and they would pick some RPGs. But anyway, so our nominees for best RPG are Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. So of these, I've technically played Elden Ring. I don't have Shadow of the Erdtree, and I haven't played it. So I guess if I'm going with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because that's the only thing I've played. Well, it's not a thing. It's a video game. It is an electronic thing that you put in a console. No. I'm going with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've put up good like some time into it, and it's a great game. It's definitely one of my favorites of this year. And if we're going by like what's I don't know, because Elden Ring is not a game. Like Shadow of the Erdtree is not a game, so like I don't even know if I want to go with that. So I guess I'll just go with one that is a game, and that's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I could also see Metaphor ReFantasio winning if it's not Final Fantasy. And I could see people going with it. It's just like Final Fantasy is the only one I've played, so that's why I'm going with that one. I think next is best action adventure game. Yes. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. So we got Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, I don't know why that's there, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Star Wars Outlaws is such a big outlier in this category. Like, why not put like anything else in here? Like, for real. Like, I don't know. That's a weird call for me. But if we're going by like what combines traversal and puzzle solving, then Zelda Echoes of Wisdom would win. And I could see it winning. I'm going to be probably saying that a lot, but it's true for some of these. I'm probably just going to go with Astrobot just because that's one of the front runners to win Game of the Year. Just kind of like how I did with Final Fantasy. And not to mention, like I said, Final Fantasy and Astrobot have more nominations than Zelda. Even though I think Zelda should have got some more love because it's a great game. I haven't played Silent Hill or Prince of Persia, unfortunately. Next, best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. So we got Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I don't really have much to say on this one. Kind of cool that Stellar Blade still made it in, even despite all the things about like of over sexualization of like for some reason. I think this is going to be my pick. Is that I think this is going to be the only thing if Black Myth Wukong doesn't win Player's Voice. I think this if it doesn't win that, then I think this is going to be the one thing that Black Myth Wukong is definitely going to win. But I don't know. I've been wrong before because I think I picked Deathloop before and they gave it to Returnal. So sometimes I don't go with the Game of the Year nominee. What's next? Best VR/AR game. Now these I haven't played any of them. Well, I haven't played any in Best Action Game either. But anyway, for the best game experience played in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. So we got Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening. See, I don't really know with this one. Like the most high profile one is definitely Batman Arkham Shadow, but I don't know. I've heard Metal Hellsinger VR is like really cool in VR, so I might just go with. I think I'll just go with that one. Because usually there's like something here that like kind of draws me in more than some other VR games, but this year is not really. So I'm just kind of picking out of a hat. Best mobile game. I wonder what's gonna win this one. For the best game playable on a mobile device.
Duh.
So we got AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon trading card game Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. So many Z's there, or Z's to any anyone watching from Canada or like the UK. Well, there's only one nominee that's nominated for Game of the Year, so I'm just gonna go with Balatro. And it's also the only one I've played of these, and yeah, it's a great game. It was still kind of surprising that it got nominated for Game of the Year. Spoiler alert, but it's a good game still. Best debut indie game. Speaking of Balatro, for the best debut game created by a new independent studio, so we got Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire. All good stuff here. Like I haven't played The Plucky Squire yet, but again, here it's great. It's gonna be a theme for most of these games. Now if I were to pick, Animal Well would be my pick because like just because Balatro is here, and I feel like it's probably gonna win that because it's nominated for Game of the Year. But I think I don't know. I want to see Animal Well win just because I want to see Donkey go up on stage and just be like, "Hey, hell yeah! I created this game, and also NAC 3's announced, baby." I want to see that happen. So I'm gonna go with. So this is more like what I want to win is Animal Well, but what I think is probably going to win is probably Balatro. But my vote is gonna be Animal Well. Not to mention, like, Animal Wells is such a neat game. And I think both Balatro and Animal Well were created by one person, which makes it even more impressive. But I think, like, Animal Well, I don't know, just the way that game looks, it's more impressive maybe to me. Best indie game, or independent game. For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We got Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I like that rhyme. Neva or Neva, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and UFO 50. Again, all great stuff. I've never heard of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes though. Neva or Neva, again, I'm sorry if I'm not sure if which pronunciation it is. Neva or Neva is by the same developers as Gris or Gree. Or Grease. I'm not sure how you say that either. But Grease is a great game and a great looking game too. So I wonder if it like deals with like similar themes that game does. It's not my pick though, but I've just shout outs to that game and to the developer Nomada Studio. This one, again, I would like to see Animal Well win this one, but this one I'm gonna go with Balatro because again, nominated for Game of the Year. So I'm just gonna go with Balatro. But like I said, I like Animal Well more than Balatro, but that's no disrespect to Balatro. Uh, Best community support. Recognizing a game of outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates slash patches. Now, this I have no clue on. So we got Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. Um, yeah, I don't really know because I don't really follow. I'm not really on social media all that much, so I don't really pay attention to updates. Um, I'm gonna go with Baldur's Gate 3, even though I could see it going to Helldivers 2 for like uh them reversing like that PSN nonsense from like earlier this year. But I'm going with Baldur's Gate 3 just I guess purely because it won last year, so and because Larian just seems like such a cool studio. Best ongoing game. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. So almost the same nominees. But this one I'm going to go with Final Fantasy 14 because that thing just continues to snag up awards when I don't even realize it. It's just like No Man's Sky. Like sometimes it just like snags an award when you think it it's done enough, but it's like, oh, here comes another one, just whoop, and then they're gone. So Final Fantasy 14. All right, next one, Games for Impact. I think there's 6 in this one. Yeah, I don't know why some. Here's the thing I don't get. I don't know why some categories have 5 nominees while others have 6. I don't get that. Pick one or the other, and stick with it. All right, Games for Impact for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. So we got Closer to the Distance, Indica. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Neva or Neva, whichever one it is. Life is Strange Double Exposure, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzira Zhao. I remember like this one in particular from last year's ceremony, and I was always intrigued by it, and I just never got around to it. I can see it's I feel like it's gonna be between these 3: Neva, Life is Strange, or Hellblade 2. I think I'm just gonna go with Neva just because like that's the only one that like I played the developer's previous game, so like I could see and again and Gris won for Games for Impact, so maybe it'll win again. Actually, I think all of these won Games for Impact at one point, like the previous game by this studio. So I'm just gonna go Neva, although I could see it being Hellblade 2 or Life is Strange. More so with Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Also, I'm not a fan of how the title for Hellblade 2 is backwards. That always kind of weirded me out. Not in like a kind of way, but just like a question mark kind of way. Next one, Innovation in Accessibility. Recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. So we got Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Prince of Persia the Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. So I'm just gonna be like just honest with you. I'm not really familiar with any of the accessibility features, like unique ones that each game has. So like I'm not very qualified to be judging this category. So I'm just gonna go with the one that is, like I said earlier, the one that's the most high profile. All of these, is what I would say if I went by that logic. I would go with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. But if I want to pick a game that I think should get some more love, I'm gonna go with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown and be a little different. Because usually innovation and accessibility usually just goes to either Forza or whatever Sony's biggest game is. But this time, since we don't have one from either one of those, I'm going to go a little different and just go Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, because I've heard this is a great game and it should get some more love. Don't know if it's going to win, though. All right, Best Performance. Awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. So we got Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I believe she's the one who plays, or she voices Aerith. Hannah Telly. I'm sorry if I butchered that. For Life is Strange Double Exposure. I wish these had the. Why don't they not have the characters' names? That's a little weird. Humbery Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws. Luke Roberts for Silent Hill 2. I think he's James. And then Melina Jorgens. I'm sorry if I butchered that. For Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. For this one, I've heard really good things about like Luke Roberts for Silent Hill 2. But like I don't know, again, sometimes I just feel like they go with like if they don't go for like one that's like in a game of the like a big game of the year thing, they'll go with like a small indie game. But I don't know if it's gonna be like either one. I think I'm just gonna go with Brianna White, and I think this could be something that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will take home. Again, I won't be again. I could see it being Luke Roberts, but that's just the phrase for today. Is I could see it being this, but I'm gonna go with this. So I should put that on a T-shirt. But I'm gonna go with Brianna White. I'm surprised like no one else from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was nominated. Like Cloud, he wasn't nominated. It's a little strange. But next, best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and game design. So we got Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Now I remember last year, I believe I predicted Resident Evil 4 to win this category, and then it lost. Because I was like, horror games don't get enough love for their, don't get enough recognition for their sound design, and just how like eerie they can make a game. Like some of these are like really high quality, I'm sure. Like Astrobot and Final Fantasy. But which one's like the most memorable, I guess? Because if we're going back, since Hi-Fi Rush won last year, what will probably make the game like more, I don't know, interesting or like more stand out? I'm gonna go with Silent Hill 2 on this one. I might just stick with like my horror game thing and just go with Silent Hill 2. And because I think if Silent Hill 2 could win something, it could be this one. And because like I'm sure it'll be like some spooky sounds, like ones that I probably can't make. All right, best score and music. If you heard that was just my microphone plug. Best score and music for outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So we got Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Are you seeing a pattern with those two? Metaphor ReFantazio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. For this one, again, I love Astrobot's like main theme of like the but like that's like the most memorable part of the music for me, from what I played so far. I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because like Final Fantasy is like known for its music, so like and remake won in this category, so I don't know, because that could be another phrase from this video if you take it from like this won before, so maybe it'll win again. So I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and just because of like how famous Final Fantasy's music is, and because not only did Final Fantasy VII Remake won already, but Final Fantasy 16 won last year, when I thought it was gonna be, I think I predicted Zelda to win. I forget, but you can go back to that video and find out for yourself. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think we're nearing the end. I think this is best. Oh no, we're definitely nearing the end because I think best narrative is next. But this one, best art direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So we got Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Neva. Let's see. Art direction is like probably the category that I am the worst at predicting out of all of these, because I have consistently for so many years gotten it wrong. Like last year I predicted Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and then what wins? Alan Wake 2. The year before, I forget exactly what I picked, but I think I predicted either Horizon Forbidden West or Stray. I think it was Horizon. Again, you might want to check that. But Elden Ring won. And then I predicted, I think it was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart or Resident Evil or Kena, Bridge of Spirits, and then Deathloop won. The only time I've gotten it right is when Ghost of Tsushima won. And I think I also got it when Cuphead won. So this one you might want to take with a grain of salt. So for this one, I'm gonna vote for, I don't know, Elden Ring. Elden Ring's like a weird one for Shadow of the Erdtree, just because like it's not a game. So like, and that's what's gonna be stuck to like Shadow of the Erdtree forever. That it got nominated for a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll just like, I don't know. I might just go with man. This one's actually has me stumped, like legitimately. I think I'll just go with I don't know, Astrobot. And then I'll be wrong, and then they'll go with like with Neva or Black Myth Wukong. I really don't know. Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. So we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga, and Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 there. This one, now again, I'm not really, I think of these I've only played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I've been slacking this year for games, if you couldn't tell. For this one, I'm probably going to be wrong on this. I'm going to go with Metaphor ReFantazio. I think this will be the one thing that I predict for it. Again, will I be wrong? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Even though like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like I'm sure it's going to get like really big later on, like from what I've played, because I'm not like I've gone a little bit into it, but I'm not like super far into it. But I don't know. Like I feel like I got to give Metaphor ReFantazio like some kind of vote. So I'm gonna go with this one for the vote. All right, next one. I think we're almost done. Best game direction. Yeah, we're almost done. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So we got Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh, and Metaphor ReFantazio. I'm sorry. It's kind of weird that that's laid out. You got all 5 here, and then you just got one just hanging out at the bottom, just like, hey, what's up? See, this one, I don't really understand what they mean by, like, creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So, like, if I'm going by that, then I would say, what's shook up the I guess the industry the most, then I would go with Astrobot, because like that game is just like, it's just like a simple, just like not a very long game. It's just like just pure platforming amazingness, and like that's all you need. You don't need like this like 200-hour like adventure to be a great game. So I think I'm gonna go with Astrobot for this, and because I don't know if this is gonna be like another split where best game direction goes to one game, but then game of the year goes to another game, like a different game. So let's see. All right, here we go. Last one. Game of the year. All right. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So your game of the year nominees for 2024 are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. I will say this right off the bat. Not as strong of a lineup as last year's. But still some good games in here. Like, you have Astrobot, you have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and you got, like, Black Myth Wukong. But then you got, like, some of the ones like Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, which, like, you know, is DLC. So like it even though as good as it is, like from what I've heard, it's not a game. It's a part of a game that like I don't know, it's just like, it's weird that like that a DLC is like kind of is nominated for game of the year. Now I'm gonna be honest with you right now. Before the game of the year nominees were announced, I never even heard of Balatro. I'm just being like just straight up honest with you. So then I like looked into it more, and then I bought it, and I played it. I'm like, this is really good. that being said, it wouldn't be if I had to put an indie game in here. As much as I like, even though I like Balatro, I would have picked Animal Well to put there instead of Balatro. So Metaphor ReFantasio is a game like I've heard of, but I'm not too familiar with it compared to like some of these other ones. Um, so and then Black Myth Wukong, like for this year, I think out of like all the times I've predicted game of the year, this might be the one where I've like played the least amount of games. Like I've played Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I technically have played Elden Ring, but I haven't played Shadow of the Erdtree. So and then what do I pick for game of the year? I'll just say this. I think it's definitely not going to be Black Myth Wukong. I don't know if it's probably not going to be Elden Ring because like again it's a DLC and it's gotten so much bad press for it being nominated because of it being a DLC. And then as good as I've heard Metaphor ReFantasio is, I don't think that's gonna win. And I'm not sure about Balatro. So that really leaves like Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think these two are definitely like the front runners to win the game of the year. So I'm not really sure. And it's kind of hard to judge cuz one game is not the same as the other. Like one's like again, one's a 3D platformer and then another is like this is a JRPG. So I don't know. I'm really torn on this one between those two. Uh, See, that's where it gets tricky because again, like I said, they're not the same kind of like type of game. Um I think I might just do this for now. Even though like I might come to regret this later. Even though I've gotten game of the year wrong before. Like I got it wrong last year. I predicted Zelda Tears of the Kingdom went to win, even though it went to Baldur's Gate 3. I think it was because I was going by like, oh, because Zelda was released earlier in the year, so it had more time to simmer. But then like Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and I was like, well, I'm wrong. So I'm gonna do this. My game of the year pick for 2024 is Astrobot because like kind of like what I was just saying. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a great game, and it came out earlier in the year, and it would be great to represent. It would be good for the people born on February 29th because they would have a game to root for with 29 categories. So, but then Astrobot came out, and it just like became this huge success. And then I don't know, it might actually take it. So I don't really have like just like a big thing for this. It's just like I just think Astrobot is gonna win game of the year off like this like small platformer instead of some of these like giants. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Astrobot. If it's not Astrobot, it's definitely gonna be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's for sure. But anyways, yeah, that is it. So thank you all for watching the video, and please comment, like, and subscribe. And next video is, I'm not sure when it's gonna be. You'll see in the next couple of days or tomorrow. I have no idea. So I will be I won't be streaming the Game Awards just in case like some technical issues happen again. So what I'll do is I'll record myself and maybe like have a friend with me to react to the Game Awards, and we'll have a good old time together. I'll probably compile it into a big video or something and go from there. So I'll be watching the Game Awards on actually tomorrow, December 12th, because I'm recording this on the 11th. And yeah, so happy predicting. Best of luck to you on your predictions and on what you predicted for Game of the Year. And and yeah, and feel free to follow me on social media. Links will be in the description. And see you when they pick another DLC for Game of the Year, and then it wins. So shock the world and us, amiibros. Goodbye.